musical chairs with me, Cheer Up Charlie. And today we have the amazing, the wonderful, he's an artist. As I just found out, he can play the piano. He's a director. So, he's a man of many talents. And the amount of stuff he has done is absolutely ridiculous. And I can't wait to interview him. He's Andrew Keates, everybody! Whoop, 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 whoop.
Hello, Charlie. How are you, mate? How's things?
I'm good. How are you?
You know, I'm good. I'm really, really good. As I said to you before we came on here, I've had a bit of a busy day because I'm on Times Radio tonight talking about theatre and things. And I've obviously got to talk to you. And of the two big things, Times Radio or chatting to you, you are the person that I've most been looking forward to seeing.
Oh, thank you. So if you're ready, we'll get right into the question.
Go mad. Ask me anything you want.
Question? No, we're going to do more than one question.
Oh, really? God, I have to talk to my agent. Go on.
So, do you remember the first show that you saw on the West End growing up? Mine was The Lion King.
Yours was The Lion King. Do you remember the first show I saw in the West End growing up? Yes, I think so. I think the first West End show that I ever saw was The Phantom of the Opera, I think Phantom of the Opera. In fact, do you know what it was? My mum saved loads and loads of money. I think it was for my 16th birthday. And because my mum didn't have much money. My mum still doesn't have much money. And she saved up to get me, to take me and a friend to go and see, I think it was two shows. It was Phantom and Les Miserables. We did both in one day. And the train fare to come up to London. And yeah, I was hooked ever since. But it wasn't necessarily seeing the West End that inspired me with theatre. As a little boy, I used to be very much involved doing a lot of Shakespeare when I was growing up. Shakespeare was how I got into theatre, and then I discovered Stephen Sondheim, the man framed behind me, as you can see just up there.
Yeah.
And it was Stephen Sondheim was my route really into musical theatre.
Yeah, with Jacqueline, I've been making Shakespeare modern at the moment.
Very, very good. Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, it's really fun actually. Not many people say that about Shakespeare, but it's actually really fun.
And you know what? Anybody that doesn't like Shakespeare, that's okay too. I mean, he was just a playwright. Shakespeare has this thing, doesn't he, where everyone says, you know, oh, you've got to love Shakespeare. I happen to like Shakespeare, but it's also okay not to like Shakespeare. That's fine too.
So did you ever want to be on the stage in front of the camera, or did you always want to direct and produce?
Good question, Charlie. Well, when I was growing up, there wasn't any such thing as a director's course, really. So the only route to being a director was to train as an actor. So I was terribly bullied, as you've experienced. I was terribly bullied when I was at school. And then from there, I decided to go to, there was a sixth form at my school, and I obviously decided I didn't want to stay at that school because I felt very unsafe. And I went to a Beacon Performing Arts College in the New Forest called Brockenhurst College, which is where basically everybody who didn't fit in the south coast of England went. And it was full of poets and dancers and goths and theatre people, all of life's oddballs, all thrown into this amazing old college. And I studied performing arts there and had a real passion there for directing predominantly, but I had obviously been doing acting. That was how I found the stage. And then I went from Brockenhurst to a place called the Mountain View Academy of Theatre Arts.
Yes.
And I was there for a year, and then I left after a year because I had to deal with somebody very important to me passing away. And then I went to the Gay Straight Alliance, the Guildford School of Acting, sorry, and spent 3 years there. And I'll be honest with you, it was there that I was always more excited by the rehearsal room. The idea of doing a show 8 times a week doesn't really excite me. In fact, it doesn't necessarily inspire a lot of the people that do that. But I was always far more interested in the questions in the rehearsal room than I was the applause at the end of a show. And that's how I found my route, as it were.
Yeah. So you trained at Mount View and then the incredible GSA. I would love a future in the arts to be accessible for all. How do we make this happen?
How do you make this happen? I think First things first is get rid of any audition fees. That's a really good start. Drama schools won't like me saying that, but I often say things that some drama schools, including GSA, don't necessarily like. It's very difficult because whenever I hear drama schools talking about diversity and the importance of diversity, it's nearly always white straight men that are doing the panel. I think drama schools need to be as creative with their fundraising as they expect actors to be in the profession, to award things like scholarships. In my day, we had a thing called Dadas, which sounded silly, but a lot of people wouldn't be in this business without them. They stood for Dance and Drama Awards. So I think it's about drama schools being creative, and I think it's about when you're given the chance to vote. I think it's important about engaging with political parties and seeing what they can do to ensure the arts is well funded, not only for the profession itself, but also for people that want to train there, and looking at how tuition fees are dealt with in this country. And I think that'd be a massive help to begin with.
Yeah. So to me, directing and producing is great for bossy people with a great vision. Am I about right?
Yeah. Are you about right? Well, I don't know, Charlie. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm any good at it, to be honest. All I will say is it's directors might be perceived as being a bit bossy, but actually the very best ones are the ones that ask the quietest questions. So, for example, if I said to you, Charlie, you've got to exit stage right, please. You'll remember that. But if I said to you, Charlie, I want you to remember that when the clock strikes, you realise that you're late for a meeting. As an actor, there'll be something of those two ways of doing it. One thing that you'll remember for the whole run, and one of those things which is just someone being bossy. So us as directors' jobs, it's about finding a question and finding something to feed off that enables us to tell that story, and to make sense for the actor, and not only the actor. It's also my job to look after, my lighting designer, my sound designer, composer, designer, costume designer, yada yada yada, and make sure that I'm asking them the right questions to get essentially what I'm after at the end of the day, but also to ask the questions to see if they can bring me better ideas than I have.
Yeah. So I'm still waiting for a Blue Peter badge. How incredible was it to win so many awards for your plays?
I'd love a Blue Peter badge. I'd love one. When I was younger, it was lovely. They're less important to me now. I'll be honest with you, it's as you get a bit older, because I was quite cocky when I was in my early 20s, and everyone is in their 20s, and I was co-running a wonderful theatre called the Landor Theatre at a very young age with a wonderful man called Robert McQuarrie. And, we really felt like we were making a difference. And as I've grown older, firstly, the more awards you get, it's more dusting, and nobody likes dusting. But it's more important to me when I see how maybe I've helped somebody or a certain cause. You were talking to my wonderful friend and colleague Cassidy Jansen on this podcast, on this podcast menu, and I remember when I first met Cassidy and seeing her grow as an artist. To call her, seeing her win her Olivier Award means a lot more to me than necessarily picking up one of mine.
So who would be on the list of people you would most like to work with, even if they're from a different era or don't fit together? For instance, I would love to sign with Miley Cyrus and Neil Diamond together singing Sweet Caroline.
Well, I think it's really obvious. I think Charlie Kristensen. I hear he's great. Apparently he's not available. He's so busy at the moment doing all these amazing podcasts. So you, Charlie, you're clearly the person I most want to work with.
Cool. So I'm very passionate about people doing what they love and not what people think they should do. #CheerUpCharlie was born just over 18 months ago now due to my decision to make a stand against bullying and the support of one incredible industry. And I'm very lucky to be in a position to use my voice and speak to people like you that give my generation the hope that things will change. But change needs to be learned. How can we help get over this massive negativity around the arts, especially in the playground with boys?
Good question. Charlie, this is something that you and I have in common. And I'm nearly 35. I turned 35 in February. Um, you know what's funny is, and I was thinking about this before we chatted, because it was really important that you and I talk about bullying, because as much as you're a wonderful ambassador for bullying, it's dealing with bullies is not something that disappears when you become a grown-up. It's something in all walks. In fact, today we're learning about our own Home Secretary, Priti Patel, has been bullying people that she works with. Sorry to make it political, but it doesn't just disappear. And I think what's very important, or I'd ask you to think about, is when I was growing up, I was a young, chubby, spotty, glasses wearing gay kid. And I didn't belong. I didn't feel like I belonged anywhere. And I'd turn on the television and there was nobody like me. Or if there was somebody that was like me, they would either be a comedy character or they'd be a victim. And that caused me a lot of pain, a hell of a lot of pain. But with that pain, I turned it into a way of seeking out people like me, people that thought like me, people, and I found myself watching things like science fiction and reading plays and listening to musicals and reading poetry, trying to understand my place in this world. So what I'm trying to say is that pain that we go through gives us an awareness of life and other human beings and ourselves, which ultimately, and I'm not saying it justifies it, but can be helpful for us as artists. Because I couldn't see myself on television, I found gay people in plays and books and musicals. And then from there, I started reading about other cultures and people of different genders and different colors and different creeds. And I think the bullies, the way a bully gets through in life is they always have a group around them, bullies. I've always thought that. And in life in general, you've got the people who are in this big group of normality, right? And they like to be with people who are like themselves, who sound like them, who eat the same food, and they all get the same kind of views, and they're a very, very strong group. And then there are people like me who, by virtue of being in a minority group, or being a bit different, let's call it that for the sake of argument, well, because of that, we can then go and visit all the other little groups, the other little tribes of people who are also different. And we can get along, because by recognizing our differences, we recognize our sameness. And my passion has been, by being in this little group that I found myself and being alone, it's enabled me to be friends with hundreds of these different tribes. And I really, really hope the more we learn as a society, the more we learn as a human race about kindness and celebrating and championing our difference, the bigger that group will get and the kinder we'll be. So in many ways, a bully can sometimes, without realizing it, give us the most profound, kindest insight, even if it is given to us through hate. When I was a little boy, I came out that I was gay when I was 13. And that was very brave. We had a horrible thing when I was growing up called Section 28, which was a government thing which basically said the non-promotion of homosexuality in schools, which basically meant that a teacher couldn't tell me it was okay to be gay, which must sound alien to you, which I'm so delighted times have changed. And one day, a bully, it's interesting we're getting to December because people are talking about the fairy tale of New York, and there's a horrible lyric in there. But I came out of my maths block and a bully called me a faggot. And my locker had repeatedly been vandalized. I was being pushed around at school, and I was only little. I was only 13, but I saw red, and I was fed up of being pushed around. And after he called me a faggot, I responded and said, I might be a faggot, but I'm not a failure. And then I had my head kicked in, and my glasses were smashed into my face. There's blood all over my face. And I remember that word faggot being said to me. And I woke up in hospital. And then I was put in a CT scanner, which is where they scan your head. I had trauma to the head. I had things called hematomas, which are like bruises all over my face. My face was unrecognizable. My mum was there. And me and my mum, my single parent mum in our council house in Dorset, we took on our school in the same way that you have taken on the bullies using social media. And my mum, it's got me quite emotional. Sorry about that, Charlie. But my mum was there for me, like your parents are there for you. And this is the thing. It's about our tribe. It's about being with people we love and people that inspire us. And there will always be someone with a horrible word to say about us. Sometimes they're theatre critics. That's okay. It's about remaining in our tribe and making that bigger. So yes, I've been bullied. And I'd be honest with you, from that, I then developed a bit of a defense mechanism a little bit. And as I've grown older, I've tried to get rid of that. I'd be very loud and performative, because if I was being loud and performative and I called people out, it meant I couldn't get hurt. As I've grown older, that's diminished a little bit and I found a bit more calm. But it's trauma. It's a trauma that stays with us. And it's important, like you are doing, like the wonderful ambassador you are, it's important that boys especially, I think, and it does happen to girls, I'm trying not to be sexist, but boys are not usually very good at talking about their feelings and talking about when they're hurting. And I wonder how many young boys and girls are looking up at you as an ambassador, because I think we all get bullied in some way or another, Charlie, at some point in our life. And sharing our story, whether I'm 35 or however old you are, is important. And letting people know it will be fine. And it's important to speak up, because if you take the bully out of their group, it often they're not very powerful anymore.
So if you could give yourself some advice as a child, knowing what you know now as an adult, what would it be?
Ooh, good question. Do more dance. I'm rubbish at dancing. And when I got to drama school, I wasn't very flexible. So I spent years and years and years in dance classes, sort of not being very good. I also have something called dyspraxia, which nobody really knew about when I was at school, which is like dyslexia for your body. So I can be quite awkward in my physicality. So I would send myself off to a lovely education specialist when I was younger and say, go and learn about dyspraxia. And I think that, and probably give yourself more of a break. I was very tough. We're very tough on ourselves, and we've got this old-fashioned hangover that, you know, performing arts has to be strict and regimental, and that's a very old-fashioned ideal. I've never got the best out of people by putting them under immense stress. I've only ever got the best out of people by giving them clear guidelines and making sure they've got everything they need to achieve. So yeah, don't be hard on yourself. There's plenty of other people out there who will make things hard for you when it really matters.
Yeah. So now's for some funny questions.
Oh, good, because I was very, very serious then, wasn't I? Good. Silliness. I embrace silliness. Go.
My mum tells me off for asking really pointless questions, and I mean pointless. What do you still get told off for?
What do I still get told off for?
Yes.
What do I still get told off for? Money. I'm rubbish with money. I'm really bad with money. I get told off for gosh, what is it?
In those pictures behind you, there's your life savings.
It is. Do you know? Yes, that was actually by Darren Brown as well. Do you know Darren Brown, the illusionist? He did that one.
Yes, I have.
No, that's another lot of money I did not need to spend. No, what do I still get told off for? I get told off. I can talk too much. I'm sure you've managed to work that out, Chris, from talking to me. Sometimes, and I think this goes back to the bullying. Sometimes I should keep my mouth shut because I'm not very good at some. Whenever I feel like there's an injustice, sometimes I can be led a little bit by principle rather than what is perhaps the most savvy decision. Some see that as a virtue, some see that as a curse. So yes, I talk too much. I'm rubbish with money, and I tell myself off for eating too much Haribo. I love Haribo so much.
So you've worked with many incredible people on so many amazing productions. What is the most embarrassing thing you've ever seen someone do or you have done?
I'm not going to say what somebody else has done because that would be no, I'm not going to do that. The most embarrassing thing I've done, oh God, every day is something. Most embarrassing thing I've done. Do you know? Right, I shouldn't tell you this. You were asking me about awards earlier, weren't you?
Yes.
Okay. There was an award ceremony, and I didn't think I was going to win anything. So I was there with some friends, and I met up with some friends. And we had a few cocktails before the award ceremony, and I might have had one too many, and then I won. And so I collected an award, sort of half drunk, and it is the most embarrassing moment of my life. I've since asked said awards people to delete said video, which does exist, and no, you're not having a link to it, and they won't. So, yes, don't have too much champagne at an award ceremony, which is why when I go to an award ceremony, I will stick to soft drinks and drink heavily only after I know the result. Cringe. I know, cringe.
So, what is your most disgusting habit?
My most disgusting habit. Gosh, I'm very clean. I'm a real sort of, and I bought my first flat nearly 2 years ago now, so I'm obsessive about things being nice. But probably most disgusting habit. I know you won't like this. When I order a doner kebab, I have pineapple in it. I have a doner kebab with pineapple, and most people think that's a hideous thing for me to do. But yes, doner kebab and pineapple. Try it; it'll change your life.
It's your decision. I mean, some people like pineapple pizza, so
I love a pineapple pizza as well. Pineapple's a great thing.
Okay. So now's for a round of quickfire questions.
Yeah.
Who would you go and eavesdrop on if you were invisible?
Donald Trump right now.
Favorite superhero?
Favorite superhero, Iron Man.
Favorite city?
Favorite city, London.
Childhood book?
Childhood book would be Morris by Ian Forster.
Last song downloaded, hopefully my single.
It is Rain on Me from the Chichester Festival Theatre production of Flowers for Mrs. Harris, which I've just got ahead of release because I've got to go and talk about it on this radio show later. So Rain on Me. Hey.
But what about my single?
Well, your single was brilliant, obviously. That's why I'm retweeting it. But, Charlie, you've got the social media following. Chichester really needs the help at the moment. I mean, you're the megastar. Chichester. Well, there you go.
Haribo or chocolate? Well, we already know the answer to this question.
Chocolate. What questions about chocolate?
Haribo or chocolate, but we already know the answer to that question.
Both, Charlie.
Well, I remember having one interview and somebody said chocolate covered Haribo and then went back on that because they said that would taste gross.
They are mental.
But then back on it because they said it would taste gross.
It would be revolting. No, what I do is I have. Oh, this is awful. This is why I'm on a diet at the moment. I have 3 biscuit barrels, and one biscuit barrel is full of jelly sweets. One is full of chocolate bars, and one is full of biscuits. And if I'm honest with you, Charlie, come an evening, until I started this diet, I would take all 3 biscuit barrels to my coffee table, curl up with a big duvet, and eat all 3 whilst watching Netflix. So I do not endorse this behaviour, which is why I've been turning into a bit of a tubby mouse as I look.
You do not.
I do. My friend Matthew and Andrew said to me, he said, do you know what? You look a little bit like Fievel. Fievel Goes West. And ever since that, I've had a complex. Or people say I look like Bernard from The Rescuers.
Favorite place to eat?
Favorite place to eat is going to be... That's really tough, Charlie, because I love eating out. I'm going to say Quo Vadis, because it's a club I'm a member of on Dean Street, and I love eating there, and it's full of lots of lovely friends.
Okay. Well, once lockdown is over, maybe not at the club, but once lockdown's over, I'll have to go for food.
I would love to go for food with you, Charlie. It would be
Lovely.
my absolute pleasure. Or maybe we can do lunch. Maybe we can go. In fact, the theatre cafe is great as well, isn't it? They've got.
Yes, the theatre cafe is very great.
Or Zidell. Zidell's great. Got Zidell.
I can sit in Zidell's and not order anything and just eat their free bread baskets.
Oh, the bread's amazing, and the butter. It's all about the butter, isn't it?
The bread, the baskets of, or I know somewhere in it's close to above the Stag Theatre, and it's close to the Union Theatre.
Yeah.
It's a tea house, and what it sells tea and toast.
What
No,
more do you
it's
need?
proper, really thick toast with Irish butter.
Well, I'm a tea connoisseur. I have a whole cupboard, an entire cupboard just filled with teas. So that is right up my street. And there's a really
We'll have to go there.
If you want to try a really good brand of tea, I'm not getting any money from them. They're just really good. T2 is this amazing tea company, and they do like this incredible vanilla tea, and they do a French Earl Grey, and it will blow your mind. I love tea.
Harry Potter house.
I mean, I'm probably going to get put in Slytherin. Slytherin or Hufflepuff. I love Hufflepuff. Although, and I think it was Rob Houchen who told me how to do this. I did do the Harry Potter Pottermore sorting hat, and they put me in Ravenclaw, and I was utterly underwhelmed.
Oh no, don't worry. They're only the first step to becoming your true house. I have a proper sorting hat.
Really? Well, I think I'm probably. I mean, if I was at Hogwarts, I would probably be in the Hufflepuff drama department, or I would be probably. I'm going to be in Slytherin, aren't I? You know.
I'm a Slytherin, so.
Are you? Well, fine.
Yes, that's my alter ego.
Proud Slytherin. I've decided, and one of the best days of my life was going to the Harry Potter experience, the Warner Brothers studio tour.
Yeah, that's really good.
Oh God, I won't. We shouldn't spoil it for people who haven't been.
No.
But what you saw right at the end, wasn't it the best feeling in the world?
Mm.
You know that great big thing.
Did you try the butterbeer? It's not alcoholic, but did you try it?
Yeah, and it could only be better if it was alcoholic. But yes, I did. I think it was just cream soda and whipped cream. But hey, that's okay. I like both of those things as well.
And I don't even like whipped cream or cream soda. Yet I love the butterbeer. Text or talk?
Oh, depends who it is. I mean, there are some things that don't warrant a phone call, and it's always the people that you hope that will text that will call. I find a WhatsApp voice note can be very, very effective. I'm going to say talk. It just depends who it is and what time of day.
2 things to take to a deserted island.
I mean, surely a mobile phone and a raft is probably not a bad idea. But look, to be honest with you, I'm quite comfortable in my own company. So I would say my phone, purely so I can access Spotify, and some headphones and unlimited battery, so I can just lie on a beach, listen to music, and slowly but surely perish on the deserted island listening to Patti LuPone.
Okay, now's for a tongue twister. I hope you're good at them, because I got you a really
Wow, we shall make them see.
You can repeat after me and then go on your own.
Yeah.
A big black bear.
A big black bear.
Bit a big black bug.
Bit a big black bug.
And the big black bug.
And the big black bug.
Bled black blood.
Lead black blood.
Your turn.
I mean, Charlie, can you write it down for me in the chat?
Oh, okay. I will try.
Write it down for me. I bet you I can do it word for word. My memory is dreadful. I have the worst memory. There are days, Charlie, where I can't remember my age. And that has genuinely happened to me. Happened to me last week. Somebody said, "How old are you?" And I had to go, "I'm 34 or 35."
So no, the chat doesn't seem to be wanting to work.
Of
So
course it doesn't. So what? Okay, give me the first two lines in one go.
okay then. A big black bear bit a big black bug.
A big black bear bit a big black bug.
And the big black bug and
And the
bled
big black
black
bug.
blood.
What's that last line?
Bled black blood.
Lead black blood. A big black bear bit a big black bug, and the big black bear did something with his big black blood.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right, Charlie, can I give you some tongue twisters then?
Okay, then give me.
Oh yeah, tables have turned. So all right, I would like to buy a box of mixed biscuits.
I would like to buy a box of mixed biscuits. I would like to buy a box of mixed biscuits.
Very, very good. Let's do. Oh no, we can't do that one because that one's rude. Let's let's do. Let's do the old-fashioned one. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Peter Piper picked a piece of pickled pepper. Peter Piper picked a piece of pickled pepper.
Oh no. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers, but Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Where's the peck of pepper? Where's the peck of pickled peppers? Peter Piper picked.
I've only ever heard of Peter Piper picked a piece of pickled pepper.
Wow, see, it's hard, isn't it? Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled pepper.
And if Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers.
Where's the peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked?
Where's the peck of what? I can't even hear. I can't hear you.
What? Would you like me to type that and put that in chat for you, Charlie? Very good. I enjoyed that.
I see you have the piano behind you. Would you like to? Ding.
Not really, because I'm not very good. I basically what happens is
you don't want to, then you don't have to.
Do you know what? I'll give you a little bit of bring him home. Shall I just do that? I'm not a pianist, and anybody that is a pianist listening to this, I'm sorry. All right, I'll give you a little bit of what should we do? Let's do a bit of Les Mis, shall we? Because I know you like it. Should we do a nice bit of There you go. A little bit of musical theatre there. Oh, you? Yes. But to be honest with you, Charlie, what's great about having a piano in the house is I have various. Whenever I had friends around, back in the day when we could, what tends to happen is I'll have a nice gathering of people. We'll have some nice food and some nice drink, and then what tends to happen is we'll gather around that piano and sing. In fact, if my friend is listening to this, his name is Ben Papworth. He's one of my very best friends, and Ben and I, whenever we get together, we both sing, playing all the parts, the entire Phantom of the Opera finale from Down Once More. Or we sing Witches of Eastwick or loads of Sondheim. God, I end up singing loads of Sondheim. Do you listen to Sondheim, Charlie?
I love Sondheim.
What's your favourite Sondheim?
Into the Woods. But then my favourite Sondheim song is Comedy Tonight.
Oh my word, that is an unusual choice, but good for you. Comedy Tonight. My favourite song, which I've said, it's funny enough to Ben Papworth, who I just mentioned, he has to organise it for my funeral. My favourite song ever written is Sunday, from Sunday in the Park with George. It's just my favourite song ever.
Yes, that is a very good song. Very, very,
very good.
Thank you so much, Andrew. What an amazing interview. Thank you so much for doing this. It was a pleasure and an honour talking to you.
Oh, it was an absolute. Well, the honour is all mine, Charlie. And you keep up the good work and you keep that wonderful passion you have for what we do. Because,
will do. You too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, Andrew. What another amazing episode. Wasn't he so heartfelt? So if you want more episodes like that, make sure to like and subscribe. And when you subscribe, turn on those notifications. And if you want to make an even bigger difference, go follow me on Instagram. I post some really nice stuff and I post a lot of logistics about anti-bullying. So just go follow me and subscribe and like. See you later, everybody.